Sorry, let me try to get my screen back up for this PowerPoint. It looks like something is not here. So here we go. So because I have asked for 20 minutes to talk about the story Dega people in Highlands, Vietnam, and it could be more than that. So I apologize in advance. It may be take over 10 minutes, more than 30 minutes. So my name is Bhim Nie. I was born into Rade Trop in the central highland of Vietnam. I am member of the Genocide Scholars organizations and the United Nations citizens and the Council member nation and state. I have a first-hand experience living before, during, and after the USA participate in the Vietnam War. I have lived for more than 50 years under Vietnamese communist rule, and I trained as a medical doctor, and I fled to USA, where today I'm living in North Carolina. I am a survivor and could be the last members who still hold the legacy of a Rade people identity, philosophy, culture, literature, poetry. A survivor possesses traditional skill from long ago and has a historical and current knowledge of what happened to us. And the philosophy that got people live peaceful in harmony with the nature. During my lifetime, I survived the bombing, fighting, torture, betrayal, incarcerations, and even the attempting assassination. I have experienced the killing of my family members and having my home village completely wiped out of the map. It is nowhere anymore. Emptiness, desolation, devastation everywhere. The continue of everything is broken. It is complete off of map due to the invasion Vietnamese colonial settler, thus destroying ways of life that it took 1,000 years to create and form. And in addition to losing our ancestral land, the less trees has been cut down, the less fish has been carved, and the less river dry up. They destroy our history, culture, language, and identities. Our children no longer speak, read, and write in the Radi. They are zombified and they know nothing about our people histories. Engendering a sense of a totally lost connection within the frameworks of the human continuity. Today's a few people stay online and majorities forced to become enslaved. Object poverty, assimilation, and turned into exotic museum object by the Vietnamese oppressors. Our people were right to exist are denied. I have no word to describe the phenomenon. However, please let me start with this brief history. Next to well, coffee contributes greatly to the quality of life. That is, if we can afford it and can delight it inappropriately in the context of how we live and eat. Over 500,000,000,000 cups of coffee are consumed each year, and that only the beverage drinks more often, and over 500,000,000 cups are drunk each day in the United States alone. But to the Dega people in the central highland of Vietnam, coffee is a tragedy that inflicts pain, suffering, and hurt upon them and their children. They suffer political and economic enslavement because of coffee. The production of coffee is in effect the major factors, the very end of the world for them. The scissor, the system, the story of the killing and systematic deprivation their land to produce coffee, and the modern refined, the best thing coffee is in effect the blood of the Rade people. Who is the Dega people? We call ourselves Anak Dega, or the children of a Dega, are the one the Malayo group in the Central Plateau, Vietnam. We are a separate race, has a single origins. It has the same stages and process evolve at the same time, or the ethnic in the Southeast Asia. We are ethnically distinct from the main group of Vietnamese. We speak the language called Radi and make up the largest group population around central Ban Ma Thuột city, Dac province, and all sides of the central highland. Let's while in the Republic of Vietnam, better now the South Vietnam, from the 1955 to 1975, after the annexation of our country by its President Nguyen Diem of South Vietnam, we are officially referred to as Người Thương or Uplander, Highlanders. Less officially, we formally refer as Đồng Bào Thương, Highland compatriots. Since 1975, there has been no specific term to refer to our Dega peoples. We are referred and labeled the same as the ethnic in the southern Vietnam, such as the dân tộc thiểu số, ethnic minorities. And in order to step away from the common projective of a Vietnamese word, the refer as a Moi, Man, barbarian or savage, the French adopted the word mountaineer, which simply means the mountain people. In the America today, it's still called the mountaineer. In the French term, while back in Vietnam, they call ethnic AD, ethnic minority AD, in a fight of manipulating our identities and forced assimilation to the Vietnamese race. The Rade people have lived in the Central Highland Plateau of Vietnam for many centuries or even thousands of years, practicing sustainable forms of agriculture, so that we call the forest flowering, mainly growing rice and long-term plants such as coffee and all kinds of tropical fruit. During the ancient time, the Royal Vietnamese court and the French colonial, this Indochina map and the separate from the Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam, what they call Pai Montagnard du Sud Indochina. The administration government in this area separated from the Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. Our land, more than 2 million hectares of the basal soil, which is very suitable for industrial crops like rupal, coffee, cargo, blueberry, peppers, and tea. Coffee has now become a central industrial commodity of the area. That French has already explored some of that. When the Southern Republic Vietnam established in the 1954, its president annexed illegally the Central Highland became a part of South Vietnam and began occupying the Vietnamese colonial settlers. And then when the North Vietnamese took over in 1975, the occupation and settlement become massive. Over 2 million people, Vietnamese from the north, settling upon the land as well, which was seized from the Dega people. And due to the stubborn collectivism, the Vietnamese people were starving, and then the Vietnamese communist regime began abandon a strictly collectivism and transformed into economic reform of 1987, which the reform called Đổi mới in Vietnamese or renovation in English, to take land for the state-owned plantation, rural coffee plantations, and to resettle more Vietnamese. They dissolved throughout the Central Highland, the Dega people traditional village, ignoring completely traditional agriculture farming of diversities and the forest management. The regime imposed a system, what they call fixed field, fixed resident, Dinh canh, Dinh cư. implying that the Dega people were nomad and allocating each Dega family just into half of hectares of land for unsustainable permanent cultivations. The Dega people, meantime, like China and Russia, and before them, Vietnam has abandoned much of colonies, communism and turned into a single party state. Complete rampant capitalism, pieces corruption, especially corporation state and the people, neighbor Vietnamese compete for the land which belong to the Dega peoples. These displacements has tragic consequences to the Dega people, especially for the young, having lost their traditional means of living, culture, and now they must take manual job working for Vietnamese, mostly in urban area. They are flooded with consumer goods, alcoholism, and all kind of the Vietnamese medias, most of which exploit them. Some Dega people could escape to Thailand or Cambodia, while their status is precarious. While back home, thousands of people died from exhaustion, disease, alcoholism. So the Rade people have been deprived of almost everything. Many of them, their parent, uncle, brother, sister, uncle, has been eliminated or forced to disappear, just as the South American that are captive have become verb in Vietnam. Just after and during the liberation 1975 by North Communist Vietnam, or leaders of the people in 1950, 1960 have been eliminated, and their stolen land nearly been seized and told to the state, to the corporation, to all the Vietnamese colonial settlers. Today, a complete process of settlement is done. And even the environmental climate under threat as the Dega people forest management have been abandoned. Most of the trees are being cut legally, illegally by rapacious, both state and private corporations. There are droughts. Rainfall has become scarce yearly, and land has lost its fertility. River streams are polluted and dry up. My people are most likely dealing with the source of drinking water, where a substance introduced into water destroys the existence of a fish and other organisms, something that only occurred after the Vietnamese invasions. So the Dega people are left tied to making living by working on Vietnamese farm, the state plantations, with their hand tied to back and mouth sewed up in the context of a single party state with favorable oligarchy represented both states and the private corporations, especially when access to the land in Central Plateau, just looking for and getting advantage. The Dega people very right to exist are denied. Their history, culture, language are destroyed. Did you suppose that this might be called genocide? If not, what else? The word genocide was coined by Raphael Lemkin, Jewish lawyer, by combining of the Greek word geno mean racial, ethnic, or family, and side mean of killing. At the heart of a genocide, Raphael Lemkin wrote is the destruction of the essential foundation of group life. This means systematic degradation against the group within physical, cultural, language, and identities. When the result widespread destruction of a human life thus create a condition that lead the group would be destroyed, and not only physical killing, it's forms of a genocide. The United Nations adopted the Genocide Convention, genocide conception of Raphael Lemkin, introduced it the Article 2 on the prevention and punishment of crime of genocide. according to which genocide means any of the following with the intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group, such as killing the members of the group, causing seriously bodily, mental harm to the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, imposing measures intended to prevent birth within the group, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. One condition fulfilled in these five conditions, it will be legally acknowledged as genocide and obliging the member you take nation the obligation of to act the preventions according to Article 2 on the prevention punishment of crime of genocide of the United Nations. Land and the access to produce coffee in the central highland of Vietnam is a part of a human disaster, which makes us complete perfect victim of genocide in the 21st centuries. I'm not politician, a prosecutor, a judge, a lawyer, or scientist. However, from my life experience, that the violence starting from my home village and that the beginnings of my understanding of the world. And I have seen more than 20 years the destructions of the physical and culture of other people in the Vietnam War. And now today's more than 48 years under Vietnamese communist rule. So, do we go well? We have no land, no culture, no language, or name. To fully understand Dega people genocide and transcend the conventional genocide, which is prominent of the physical killings, the Dega people genocide has its own characteristic. It could be divided in several stages. First stage is the annexation Highland Dega people country. They become part of Southern Republic Vietnam. The Republic Vietnam was established in 1954 by the support of the United States. The President Ngo Dinh Diem, his government followed the old ancient plan divided in their Nam Dien, the southern world, invasion and occupying the everyone land to the south and illegally annexed the Central Highland and imposed the infrastructure destroys jury system, administrations, and the burning teaching tradition in the school and from public media. And the teaching the tradition completely disappeared in 1962. So how we call this a genocide? Raphael Lemkin has said that genocide has two phases. One, the destruction of the national parties and the oppressor group. The other is the imposition of the national party of the oppressor. And second stage of the 20 years until under conflict Vietnamese between North, the Vietnam Wars, and which the United States participate. All over the world, every people familiar with the Vietnam Wars, but few people knows that the land sit on the between North and South Vietnam sit on the land of the Dega peoples. The Central Highland has become large scale of bombing and spraying with the deadly chemical agent orange. Over more than 85% Dega people infrastructure, village, societies destroyed. And both sides of the conflict, they use the Dega peoples as a tool by collecting the young Dega people, recruit them and fighting on the battlefield. As a result, half of the young people Dega disappear in this war, and more than 200,000 Dega people were killed, and 100,000 innocent being dragged and killed and ruined in other nightmarish ways, while horrific injuries, severe trauma, entry and the stress drama because of the moving from the loss of home, agriculture, and essential for the life. To the outside world, the Vietnam War has ended in 1975. However, today people never get peace. They have choices as long as they are enemy. A paramilitary organization established in every village, district, hamlet throughout the Central Highlands. A similar Adolf Hitler ends up grouping with secure Jews in the World War II. From village to village, they got people being arrested, kidnapping, freely killed in jungle, forced disappearance, rapings. Within 10 years, from the 1975 to the 1986, the most generations of Dega elite, traditional-oriented people, knowledgeable people, literature figure, teacher, and student were utterly eradicated. Among them were family members, my uncle, my oldest brother, my father-in-law, my brother-in-law, and all my best friends filled this period of time. And the third phase, 48 years under communist rule. Now everything is gone. The Vietnamese has not ratified the International Labour Organization Convention number 169, which is covered about the health, education, and land rights. Although Vietnam voted favors of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People and the Universal Human Rights Declaration, it does not recognize us as indigenous people. The historical record of the Vietnam War has been skipped on us. For example, the story of Rade people village destroying during the war, such as the bombing Buon Pon Lam the last day, which I was survived, more than 60 people, young, adult, children, students, killed. And another instance is the 1970s, more than 300 in the Dak Som village were killed by North Vietnamese army. Meanwhile, My Lai myself, committing with the US Army, had killed more than 500 people. Among them, just only 24 civilians, and the rest is a computer empathizer with the Vietnamese communists. But they count as genocides. And even in 1975, the Phnom Penh, when the Cambodia was a Khmer Rouge take over some. And over there, so they murdered more than 300 elite Dega people were killed, among them my uncle and their families. The world has acknowledged the Cambodia as a genocide, but not Dega people. To Dega people, so when their head is cut up, the whole body paralyzed. And today's, beside the thousands and thousands agent secret, so-called 47 force, the youth communities parties, online watchdog, terrorize psychologically, and destroys the memory of the past by brainwashing, manipulating, distracting, intimidating, and pressures that they get people to be assimilated. The real life and so and the social media, such as Facebook, YouTube, has become tool to divide people, Dega people, and continue to control, molding the young the behavior, conception, and the attitude toward their land and denial of the genocides. It is a continued vicious attempt to destroy the remaining Dega peoples. At the peak Vietnam Wars from 1967 to 1970s, my sibling and I were sleeping under bungalows every night. And today's in America, I still sleep in the bunkers. There is silent on March. This year's 2 bullets crossed under my head while sleeping. This is demonstrate high degrees of a continuous and vicious of a genocide to terrorize psychologically, culturally, and destroy the memory of the past because I am only survivors. Conclusion: our home, back Vietnam, is dying. We are at the brink of the group of people extinction. This highlight underscore pricing the natures of our plight, which is significant difference between the struggle between death and the equal in life. We are enduring and suffering the most complex modern of genocide 21st centuries. Its nature is the act of anti-creation to prevent us from becoming unlike the Holocaust. That came over gas chambers as a tool to kill Jews, or the Cambodian genocide, Greenfield, which killed 2 million genocide for the Cambodians. But the Dega people are fighting with the intentional destruction of the whole part. The combination of a physical, cultural identity, eradicate language, abolition, and ultimately the land ancestral dispossessions. The perpetrators in the genocide Dega is still alive and has tremendous capability to destroy, to deny what they were doing to us. The physical, social, cultural, and historical context that set this are considered to never have existed. Our victimhood never existed. It's so extreme. Any act of genocide will be denied, and there will be no single threat of a genocide ever taking place. Consigning as if the people never have existed, consigning the timeless, formless, postback to non-existent and unproposed. These acts against humanities and the gross human essence has never been thoroughly accessible, accounted for, or examined at the national or international level, while the world community repeatedly claimed this never genocide happen again. 100 years from now, when the people from the world come to visit that Central Highland and have seen the Dega people, they did not die from fall of trees or snake bite or the decrease of the divine there. However, it's a result of the unhuman acts on human. I realized that their magic answer and miraculous to overcome these greatest scourges of humanities. However, being species living on this planet, we have a human dignity, obligations, hope, and aspiration of our children and grandchildren that somehow, somewhere, the civilized people's empathy, compassion, willing to give us a hand to continue to survive. I'm pleading the world community, particularly the United States, this loss for us and for all the nation communities. So it must not stand idly by. I'm standing in front of you today as a witness, it's a message, it's a call from the depth of our soul to define when we might not have exactly what to cry out to support. To all politicians, the elite in Washington, D.C., to United Nations and all politicians in Southeast Asia state, the Singapore, Malay, Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam acknowledge the atrocity occurs on Dega peoples as genocide and also allow a fresh perspectives of the modern genocides in 21st centuries beside the conventional Cambodia genocide. Interventions and protection of the humanitarian law is a simple step, vital for us to survive, a chain of restitution and rehabilitation and maintaining of the Rade people. Thank you so much for your listening and for serving your interests and concern. I borrow the Maori people province. It's a I walk backward into the futures with my eye fixed on my past. Kau ibat kedun tlun, bena kletip panap, hong la kau dlang jap kletip lamroy lekau. Our past was homogeneous group of people with the same community, living peaceful with our natures. We have school, law, enforcement, family, and societies. So today's we have no more about the futures. So to understand and conclusion, sympathize with our people. So here is the clip video, all the image in the past before 1975, and the people will never see back in Vietnam. So please enjoy, and I will have a question to answer. So any people have the question, so please email me. This is my email, yangkamla@gmail.com.
That was incredibly moving and very informative, and I'm so sorry for the experience of people. Thank you so much for
Okay.
sharing, and I'm delighted that we were recording and that this will go online for others to listen to and learn. And you said you had your email address there that others could access and email you with questions.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
and for joining and for allowing me. And I hope I keep continue to tell about the story
I
in
hope
this
so
world. Yeah.
too. The pictures that toward the very end as part of the video were very moving. You could see the faces of everyone, and it was incredibly informative. So thank you for taking the time for sharing it with us. I really appreciate it, and I learned a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I will stop the recording now, and hopefully we'll have your email, and others can email you if they have any questions, or if there's any questions in the audience, feel free to put it in the chat.
Okay.
And I'll stop the recording now.
Thank you. And maybe I record by myself when I put every part I speak more clearly. Because when go long like this, sometimes I skip it and my accent is not clear. I will record it and will send with you again for all the study.
If you would like, you were very clear though. I was able to keep up. So, but whatever you prefer, whatever you prefer.
Okay.